All right, well, coming up, I don't know what to say about Takata. I'm so outraged. And
let's go to war. In the meantime...
You want to get in my car? I'll give you a ride.
We'll just go to war with them.
Yeah.
In the meantime...
All right, CPS dropping the word probation. What are they going to go with, John?
Spanking. I don't know. What are they going to go with? Being bad?
89 WLS, Chicago's talk leader.
All right, back here on 89 WLS. This is kind of an interesting education story.
It's not only education, it's politically correct. It is the exact reason why education is terrible, which is why I told Peter, my son, not to go become a teacher, but he wants to be a teacher. What can I do?
Chicago Public Schools, they came out with their new rating system, whatever, and in part of it is they're also dropping the use of the word probation. 312-591-8900. What do you think about dropping the use of the word probation? Apparently, they thought it had too much of a criminal connotation. Okay, wait. Let me get this straight, John. So you do something in school, you get sent to the principal's office, or you do something bad and they put you on probation instead of kicking you out of school. And now we don't want to use the word probation because that has a bad connotation.
Yeah, and you know what? A D has a worse connotation than a C. Why don't we give everybody, why don't we just change the grades? Let's not have valedictorians. We already don't do that. Let's change the sliding scale to make it look like kids are doing better than they really are. We already do that. And now let's get rid of probation because it might offend my feelings.
So is this all part of, like you said, this politically correct society we live in now?
She's quoted in the Sun-Times story by Lauren Patrick and Art Golub. This is Barbara Bird Bennett, the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools, who says, I had a lot of conversations with Karen Lewis. We both agreed that about that language that I inherited here in Chicago and that she had lived with. Probationary is not a good term. It's not a descriptor about what we really have to do with our children. Really? It's not a descriptor? If you can't read, you can't write, you're on probation. How's this, Lauren? What do you think? What do you think you would do with it? What would you call it?
I'm trying to come up with a different word.
Can anybody help us? 591-8900?
If you're not... You know what this is? This is like letting kids off the hook, sort of, right? I mean, is it trying to make the kids feel better? And, you were a bad kid, but we're going to,
It's to make politicians feel better.
Do we shame them now instead of the probation thing? What are we doing here?
It's making the politicians feel better because they don't have to actually do something to change the status quo. So no one has to change anything. And meanwhile, the kids from India and China are eating our kids' lunch. We'll be dead, turned into crackers. Dogs and cats living all over the world. Everything going to hell.
Mike, good morning. You're on 89 WLS. What's another word for probation?
Well, I think another word for the kids that we're raising now are wusses. This is the wussification of American children, which is why my kid is in a private Catholic school because these public schools are insane.
Mike, what about bronies? Do public schools allow boys to be bronies?
You know what, John? I don't know. I don't know. I did some substitute teaching in the public schools too, man, and it is frightening. And like you said, India and China are eating our lunch, and they're eating it for a reason. It's because our children can't cope anymore. They can't cope with rejection. They can't cope with failure. They can't cope with anything.
That's why we should give them guns when they can't cope with everything,
Mike.
And then they could go crazy and kill everybody. I mean, I don't know what to do. I really don't. And I was joking about that, okay? I don't want everybody to come down on me.